Guess how much you'd have to pay for the Beatles cue sheet from their 1965 Ed Sullivan TV performance?
Their final Sullivan appearance. Gosh, I don't know, $10 million?
Close. 250,000 bucks.
Okay, well, that sounds like a bargain.
Yeah, right. But seriously, we are exploring 15 rare artifacts that, kind of tell the complete story of the band.
Spanning from like million-dollar documents to some truly bizarre 1960s tools.
Exactly.
Well, our first item immediately sets a massive baseline. We're looking at handwritten lyrics to Here Comes the Sun with a current asking price of $6,999 or best offer.
Okay, wow. Almost $7,000.
Yeah, and it's penned on this vivid yellow paper featuring the Yellow Submarine cartoon illustration, signed by all four guys, framed with suede matting.
Now, the history there is legendary. George wrote it in the spring of 1969, sitting in Eric Clapton's garden, right?
Yeah, he was basically taking a mental health day to escape all those toxic business meetings at Apple Corps.
You can really feel that optimism in the song. But I have to push back here.
Okay, what's your hesitation?
Well, this sounds like a Frankenstein piece. I mean, why would all four guys sign George's lyrics on Yellow Submarine stationery when the song is an Abbey Road track?
Oh, that's a fair question. That anomaly is exactly what collectors scrutinize. But it turns out that stationery was simply what was lying around the Apple offices during later sessions.
Huh. But how do we prove George actually put his pen to this exact paper?
We rely on guaranteed forensic authentication, or the GFA process. They don't just look at letter shapes, They magnify the ink to track pen lifts and stroke velocity.
So it's basically science at this point.
Exactly. And because everything yielded affirmative results, I can pronounce this the genuine article and an absolute standout item for any display. And by the way, if you're listening to us on podcast and you want to see photos of these auction items and the eBay links, visit us at BeatlesFinds.com.
Awesome. Moving on to item 2, which we teased earlier, the signed Ed Sullivan Show cue sheet. The fixed price is $250,000.
$250,000. Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's an original orange sheet from September 12, 1965. Lists acts like I Feel Fine, Ticket to Ride, and Cilla Black. Plus, Ringo inscribed it to a Debbie and Carl.
That 1965 appearance, it totally changed rock television. It was the night McCartney debuted yesterday as a solo acoustic number.
Backed only by a string quartet.
Yeah, and if you look at the sheet, you can actually see the stage directions for violins, cello, and viola noted right there.
I look at this document like a roadmap, It shows the exact coordinate where they pivoted from live touring phenomenons into studio auteurs.
Oh, for sure.
But for $250,000, a regular certificate won't cut it. How do we know it's real?
At that price point, it's all about PSA DNA encapsulation. The document is permanently sealed in a tamper-evident case with a matching hologram.
So if you mess with it, it's ruined.
Yep. Considering 2 of the signers are gone, the window for this kind of thing closed decades ago. It is definitely the real McCoy.
Love that. Okay, item 3 is a bit more modern. A Paul McCartney Teenage Cancer Trust lithograph. Number 26 out of 100.
What's the bid on that one?
It's sitting at 2,002 British pounds, which is about $2,698.
Nice. It's an 8-color silkscreen from his 2012 Royal Albert Hall performance. Really striking visual, an eye looking through a window next to a ladder. And it's signed in pencil by Paul.
Right, but pencil is notoriously easy to forge. I mean, anyone could trace a signature.
You'd think so, but the defining factor here is the MPL Certificate of Authenticity.
MPL, so McCartney Productions Limited.
Exactly. Coming straight from his own company gives it an unbroken chain of custody. That entirely eliminates the guesswork, making it a rare find representing strong value.
Let's dive into the music itself for item 4. The Beatles In Mono 14 LP box set from 2009. The current bid is $799.75.
14 records on 180-gram vinyl. The shrink wrap is off, but the records are totally unused.
The mono versus stereo debate is practically a religion for audiophiles.
Oh, completely. Back then, stereo was just a passing fad. Mono was the punchy format for AM radio. The band would spend weeks supervising the mono mixes, even on complex stuff like Sgt. Pepper.
While the stereo mixes were just delegated to engineers.
Yeah, they just hard-pan the vocals to one side while the band was literally out having tea.
Listening to those early stereos and headphones gives me a headache. It's like watching a classic movie that's been artificially colorized. The mono box is the director's true vision.
Definitely. But you have to watch out for fakes, because bootlegs of this box set flooded the market a decade ago.
How do you spot a fake one?
You check the dead wax matrix numbers etched into the vinyl. The 2009 remaster is the holy grail of fidelity, making this a great piece for any serious listener.
Makes sense. Okay, item 5 takes us to the Mediterranean. Assigned the Beatles in Italy vinyl album, currently at $450.
A rare Italian EMI Parlophone pressing. This is where international Beatlemania gets so romantic.
Why is that?
Well, international subsidiaries were often left to their own devices. They produced totally unique label designs and cover art to cater to local aesthetics.
You'd think a massive machine like EMI would want strict global brand control?
Logistics were just too fragmented in the 60s. But finding an obscure Italian pressing with Paul's signature, you verify that with a JSA letter of authenticity.
So they compare the exact slant and pressure of his writing from that era.
Bingo. That rigorous verification proves it's not a forgery. It's truly a standout item.
Moving to item 6, a factory-sealed original 1964 mono first pressing of Beatles 65. Current bid is $370.
The iconic umbrella cover, Rush released to dominate the Christmas 1964 market.
And it worked, hit #1 on the Billboard 200 in a week. But look, can't I just buy a commercial shrink-wrap machine and fake a factory seal?
Collectors look for breathe holes. Factory heat tunnels in 1964 trapped air, so machines punched microscopic perforations into the wrap to protect the cardboard.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah, modern resealers almost never replicate those perfectly. Because those holes are present, we know it is the genuine article.
Fascinating. Item 7 is another sealed Holy Grail. An Abbey Road original 1969 first pressing. Bid is $294.70.
This is the second version, right, where the sewer cover is visible on the street.
Yep, and Her Majesty is listed on the back. It even has an original Woolco price sticker for $3.57.
Photographer Ian McMillan had exactly 10 minutes on a stepladder to capture that crosswalk photo.
Does the breathe hole logic apply here too?
It does verify the seal, but the typographical anomaly, the fact that the hidden track, Her Majesty, is explicitly printed, validates this specific pressing variant. It's a legitimate grail and a rare find.
Let's jump back to Italy for item 8. An 8 days a week Italian 45 RPM single. It's sitting at 162 euros, so about 186 bucks.
Dark green Parlophone label, archive condition.
And no globe photos writing on the cover.
Right. This is the pure thrill of typographical hunting for collectors, finding those hyper-specific international variants.
But how do you spot an original versus a clever 1970s reissue?
Look at the legal stamps. This features a beam marking on both sides, which was the European Mechanical Rights Society. Reissues usually miss that specific mid-60s font. It is absolutely a great piece.
Let's shift from vinyl to merch. Item 9, a set of Yellow Submarine plush doll figures. The bid is 104 British pounds, or roughly $137.
Brand new, boxed 9-inch plushies. The legacy of that 1968 animated film is just massive.
But plush toys are bootlegged all the time.
True. We verify these by checking the official Apple Corps and Suba Films licensing tags. They are firmly the real McCoy.
All right, item 10. A Ringo Starr signed caveman photograph, currently at $141.
Oh, the 1981 film. It's an 8x10 of Ringo and Barbara Bach.
The movie was entirely invented cave speak. The irony is, Ringo was always the sharp, witty guy in the early films, but here, he had zero actual dialogue.
Yeah, but its legacy is biographical. It sparked their enduring marriage.
Who even authenticates a novelty movie photo, though?
It's supported by a Perry Cox COA. Since he's a leading authority, I confidently call this a standout item.
Item 11 takes us into geopolitics. A Beatles Amiga LP Mono, East Germany import. Bid is $44.
This represents the Cold War tension. The communist apparatus initially viewed the band as Western decadence.
But they eventually released limited runs on the state-owned Amiga label. How do you prove it's a real artifact?
These pressings cross the Iron Curtain. You check the Amiga labeling and matrix numbers matching Soviet bloc plans, an undervalued category and truly a rare find.
Item 12 is an industry insider piece. Capitol Records, the Silver Years 25 promo LP, sealed 1967 promo, currently at $71.
The back cover features executive Alan Livingston, the guy who finally signed them in 1964.
After Capitol rejected them multiple times, imagine if he had been the guy to pass on them one last time.
He'd be remembered for the worst business decision of the century.
Exactly. Since this was never sold in stores, how do we confirm it?
The factory seal and the specific color band label used exclusively for internal promos verify it as the genuine article.
Item 13 shows peak Beatlemania hype. 1966 NEMS inflatable cartoon dolls. Set of 4 15-inch blow-ups, all still holding air. Bid is $36.
Ryan Epstein's NES Enterprises put their faces on literally everything.
60-year-old plastic that still inflates. Could these be modern replicas?
The 1966 NEMS mark on the reverse validates them. Plus, vintage vinyl degrades in a very specific way. Finding them without leaks makes this a rare find.
Item 14. John Lennon McCartney Toys cartoon figure from 2004. $12.50.
Based on the bizarre 1965 Saturday morning cartoon series.
Where the band had zero involvement and went on ridiculous adventures, an entire generation of kids met John Lennon dodging crocodiles on Saturday mornings.
So weird. But the sealed McFarlane packaging ensures it's not a knockoff. Definitely a great piece for entry-level collecting.
And finally, item 15. Vintage 1964 Celtab and MS doll set with instruments. Current bid is $76.
Celtab, which is Beatles spelled backward, ran the U.S. licensing.
The condition is terrible. Fading, bald spots, and missing foot tips. Paul is holding his Hofner bass guitar, but his back label is totally different from the others.
These were actual toys played with in backyards.
Doesn't the damage mean they could be cheap knockoffs?
Paradoxically, the dirt and wear actually authenticate them. Pristine fakes exist, but this specific Playwear proves they are the genuine article.
Makes a lot of sense.
And, before we wrap up, consider this. We've just analyzed physical records and vinyl toys from 60 years ago, with physical media essentially disappearing today. What will the equivalent artifacts look like for megastars in the year 2084? What will collectors be bidding on? A digital stem file.
Well, thanks for joining us today. By the way, if you're listening to us on podcast and you want to see photos of these auction items and the links to them, visit us at BeatlesFinds.com. It's the Beatles all day, every day, 8 days a week. Cass will do it again tomorrow.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Till next time. When you listen,
your mind conducts its own auction.